Great evening. Thank you. It is so very nice to see all of you. You just do not know. This is our first formal event since we have transitioned back and opened up, and it is good. It feels great to be here, and it feels great to see all of you. I had to say that. So, my name is Dr. Lisa Hobson, and I humbly serve as your Associate Director for the Honors College. And I know many of you, and I'm looking out, which feels really great, at all of your faces, and it's great to see some familiar faces, and I see some new faces too, and I want to welcome all of you to VSU and welcome you to VSU Honors College. And greater happens here at the university, and yes, we know that, but greater happens here in the Honors College because of you. And on behalf of my team, with that said, I want to say thank you to all of you. And as a mom myself, and my kids are growing up on VSU's campus, I want to give a kudos and a congratulations to our parents and friends that are here as well. Because without you, your students wouldn't be in their seats today. So there are people joining us today who could not be here in this beautiful place. And through technology and because some of the lessons that we've learned over the last 2 years, we are live streaming. And that is new for us here, and I'm excited for that. We even have someone joining us from China today and viewing all of your accomplishments far, far, far away. So that's pretty neat, right? And then I want to say that we are proud of all of your achievements, and we are here to celebrate you. And I won't go on and on. All of you should have received a program when you first came in. And if you look at your program, we're going to follow the agenda that's in the front of that booklet, right? So in that, I want to say again, we're proud of what you have done thus far. And I say thus far because for many of you, your journeys are just beginning. And I want to make sure that you take advantage of all the opportunities that you have in honors. And with that said, I'm not going to hold you. I want to follow the agenda. And I have the pleasure of welcoming to the stage our 14th president, my favorite, President Abdullah.
Thank you, Dr. Hobson. Thank you for that very warm introduction. It's a little loud. I also want to thank Dr. Houghton for her great work behind the organ. Always sounds great. I don't always acknowledge you. Thank you for what you do. Thank our Executive Vice President and Provost, Dr. Donald Palm, our Dean of our Honors College. That's right, Dr. Dan Roberts, and everyone associated with the Honors Program. I'd also like to thank all of the faculty and staff who are here that do all of this incredible work to make sure that we have such incredible honor students. So for all of you who are here, please know if I don't call you by name that I want to thank you and tell you that you're doing a great job. Last but certainly not least, though, I want to thank, acknowledge, and appreciate all of the honor students who are here today. Please give yourselves a round of applause. We are here today because of you. There are 3 kind of big ceremonies that happen here at Virginia State University. One is kind of a freshman convocation where we invite people in on your first day and we kind of tell you how great it's going to be, give you that encouragement as you continue to move on through your academic journey. The other one, of course, is commencement, the event that happens at the end of your journey where we congratulate you on all the incredible things that you've done on making it through and finishing this journey that is college life. This ceremony here, while it's hard to argue that it's better than graduation, it is different and better in some ways in that it's both of those things. One, we are trying to make sure that we encourage you by congratulating you for the great work that you're doing. It is a milestone in the middle of your career to say, look, you've done great work, and if you continue on this path, there is more greatness ahead of you, of course, because greater happens here. And so I am so proud of all of you. I wish you nothing but success. Listen, the young man, Jordan Daniels, asked me backstage. He asked me, was I ready? I told him I was born ready. But what I told him and what I'm going to tell you now is that so were you. You are ready for this. You are ready for the challenges of college, and more importantly, you're ready for the challenges after this. It's the work, it's the hard work that you're putting in now, the awards that you're getting now, that are really going to showcase how you're going to move forward in life. And so thank you so much. Oh, and I almost forgot to thank our speaker. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to bless our audience with a wonderful speech. I appreciate you. And with that, we shall go on with the program. I guess I'm going to bring up Mr. Jordan Daniels, who will deliver the occasion for today. Mr. Daniels?
Thank you, President Abdullah. That man, great. Students, families, faculty, alumni, staff, and guests, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the Virginia State University's Honors Convocation and the brilliance that is within our scholars. Tonight, we honor students who have demonstrated intelligence and leadership, both in the classroom and their communities. But first, let me introduce myself. I am Jordan Daniels, a junior social work and sociology double major from Baltimore, Maryland. I was inducted in the honors program in the spring of my sophomore year, and since then, I have been so thankful for the opportunities and blessings that the honors program has introduced to me. But now, I'd like to talk about three groups in particular tonight. The first group is for those who have helped create these academic achievement awards and programs. You have paved the way for excellence for the generation of the future. No matter the reason behind your gifts, they have helped to give recognition and support to the creative students of this institution while providing encouragement to push our own expectations as young Black scholars. We as a school and an honors college give you thanks for all you have done. The second group I would like to discuss is the faculty, the wonderful instructors and directors of the honors program, to the professors and advisors that help each student succeed. In many ways, we are here because of you. We celebrate your dedication every day to the wonderful students of this institution. You lead in the classroom through new and innovative and creative ways to teach your students. You push excellence while taking the role as a mentor who strive through scholarship and research. To the members of the Virginia State faculty, we appreciate you and acknowledge all the time and dedication you put forth in your students. The last group I would like to address, of course, is the students. You are the real reason we are all here today. You are the soul of Virginia State, and you are the purpose for all the faculty and staff that wakes up in the morning and comes to One Hayden Drive. You are the mission. At the end of the day, though, it isn't the professors or the instructors that push you to do better. You can have as much support from your friends, families, and advisors, but it is you, at the end of the day, who achieves the goals that you persevere out to do. You are the scholars staying up all night, finishing those discussion boards and studying for those midterms. You are the scholars who are able to balance your personal lives with your professional lives, while also fulfilling your duties in your extracurricular activities. You have the ability to create, love, discover, explore, destroy, and establish. So use that forever. In college and in life, do not become content with what you have done, because there will always be more knowledge to learn and more work to do. Use your established goals and achievements to reflect on your success and use that as motivation to achieve the above and beyond. Most importantly, what makes a university isn't the buildings or the activities that happen, but it's the students and their strive for Black excellence. And looking at all the Black excellence tonight that is being portrayed, whether it's those winning the awards, those who organize the event, or those who are in attendance for support, we should take great pride and joy in how well-defined Virginia State is and the students that hold. Thank you, and I appreciate every student that's here today.
Thank you, Jordan. And next, we will have an original poem read by one of our talented honors students, Nia Stevens.
Hello. The poem that I'm going to be speaking for you all is entitled Constellations of the Hill. Enjoy. Oh, my dear little firefly, look how you light up the night. Wandering in on your lonesome, please stop by. Take a drink and let the knowledge flow. Here you've come, you've journeyed long, and the path continues for miles on. The skies may have been foggy and the flight lonesome, but here you continue on. Here we all come, twinkling and sparkling in our own ways. Here we gather and find the road not darker, but full of other fireflies extending their light. Together, the path is brighter. Together, the path is less weary. Together, our lights opening doors previously too dark to see. The hill extends their lights so that we may burn all the brighter. For the road before us is long and full of things unseen, but other fireflies have come before me. They extend their lights, holding out a helping hand, forming stars as we journey together. Forming stars as we journey together. So bright, no darkness can stand. So take a drink from this fountain, share the knowledge, and form your constellations. Because we can burn as bright as the sun on Trojan land. Thank you.
Sorry, good afternoon. You can see I'm having difficulty with my mask. Again, good afternoon. I am Dr. Aurelia Nicholas Donald, and it's my pleasure to be here in front of you this evening. It is an honor to stand before all of you today as the chair of the Honors Council. Will the members of the Faculty Honors Council please stand or wave? The Faculty Honor Council is proud of and celebrate each member of the Honors College. We know that you are embracing your education during trying times and demonstrating resilience by soaring academically. We are so proud of you. I also bring greeting from the Student Honors Council. Consider joining the Student Honors Council. Your voice matters. For many of you, this is your first convocation. Congratulations. This is a beginning. Be great. I charge you to learn about the Honors College. Take advantage of all that it has to offer. Learn all that you can, not only about the Honors College, but about VSU. And again, take advantage. Go out, go be outstanding. The Honors Council salutes you. Thank you.
Greetings, Trojans. I am Madison Jennings, a sophomore biology major, marketing minor from the Prince George's County, Maryland, and I humbly serve as your current sophomore class president, as well as a member of the Honors College Council. In my future, I have plans on becoming a physician assistant in dermatology after graduating, and this summer, in June, I will be participating in the Summer Health Professions Education Program at Howard University School of Medicine, whose mission is to strengthen the academic proficiency of underrepresented minority and disadvantaged students interested in pursuing careers in health sciences. Today, I have the honor of introducing today's keynote speaker, Dr. Robert Wynn, Director and Lippman Chair in Oncology, Senior Associate Dean for Cancer Innovation, and Professor of Pulmonary Disease and Critical Care Medicine at the VSU School of Medicine. You can read his full biography in your printed programs. Most recently, Dr. Wynn has joined a VSU and Massey Cancer Center partnership for cancer disparities research and training with intentions to fund the creation of a new center uniting a team of several scientists conducting exploratory research around a common theme and increasing diversity of the cancer research workforce. This collaboration connects Dr. Wynn to not only Virginia State University, but also the Honors College Council itself. And we are very happy to have Dr. Wynn with us here today. Please help me as I welcome him.
It's a pleasure being with you today. Ramadan Mubarak for those brothers and sisters who are Muslims. I'm going to start off by sort of saying, hopefully let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the message to you all today. I am most honored to be here with you all, and thank you for the invite. Your senior leaders, your president, have been nothing but stellar in the context of representing excellence beyond excellence in many ways that has inspired me to sort of reach out specifically to VSU. I'm going to talk a little bit today about two things, three actually. Talk a little bit about excellence. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on courage. And then I'm going to talk about why you need to know the difference between mentorship and sponsorship. But I'm going to start off talking about what's not in the book, what you can't read. I am the product, not ashamed of it, teenage mom. My biggest aspiration in life was to work and become the youngest foreman for GM. And here I stand. This is a message of the context of that I don't all have to tell you because you're here. You already know what you're supposed to do. We already know what's not only expected of you, but what you expect of yourself. I stand before you as the representative of when people see greatness in you before you even see it in yourself. I'm here because at Notre Dame, there were two priests, Father Walter, Father Austin, who saw something in me before I could even recognize it in myself. And when they called it out, I couldn't even believe it. In fact, I denied it. They said to me, listen, I think you should go to medical school. I was like, man, you crazy. Medical school? Do you know how hard that is? Father Walters responded, yeah, I do. Father Austin then said, and you can do this, so what's the problem? Sometimes when you're chasing excellence, even when you have all the honors, and even when everybody is telling you how good you are, sometimes you just don't believe it yourself. My message is to say, just like I was told, I see greatness in you. And the task that's being called on you is to be even greater than you believe you can be. Now here's what's up. Y'all have gone through some, listen, so have I. Last 2.5 years have been kind of crazy. When I took the job at Massey Cancer Center, I knew one thing, that I was taking a job in 2019 as the only African American then who, in the 50-year history of having federally designated cancer centers in the country, was the first. Now, the truth of the matter is when I took that job, it wasn't in the context of being the first, it was in the mission of breaking the barrier. Because my concept was, if I did my job right, there should be other brothers and sisters coming after me. If I did my job for just, quote, being sitting at the table, then I would probably be the only one. Well, I gotta let you know that I have never been good being by myself. Grew up with a brother, and actually never got comfortable with the fact of being the only one anything. I like teams, you see. Within less than a year and a half, we now have Brother Oduni, who's at the University of Chicago because that was a push. And I'm telling you right now, in your lifetime, we will have the first African-American cancer center director of a nationally designated center, because it is not enough for me to get there without the we. And for some of y'all gonna be up, y'all got other things y'all wanna do, but so let me just throw this at you real quick. Greatness is not a matter of chance as much as it is a matter of choice. And I understand that you have a lot of pressure on you. We need you. You're coming to college and you're looking at the professions that come after this is not so much, that's gonna be cool, I'm gonna make this money. You're being called into action to serve in the context of an advocation. What does that mean? In some ways, it means that you cannot continue to define your excellence on the compliments and validation of others. I'm telling you. You all are going to be challenged in this new world as we are pulling up out of COVID with a whole number of challenges that may have existed before, but have certainly been exacerbated over the last couple of years. Here's the numbers. Why is it that when we are okay with the fact that 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will get cancer, but of those, and that cancer is the #1 cause of people dying in the state of Virginia, and yet, when we look at the numbers, it's mostly African Americans, folks in rural areas. Why are we okay with that? Why are we okay with the fact that as we start looking in the context of people who, we all know that artificial intelligence, and whether you know it or not, your phone right now is all AI. They know what you like, they know what you don't like. And while you say, well, I turn it off sometimes when I go to bed, come on, they even know where you sleep. Why is it that as we understand that this new technology is not something we're thinking about, but is here, the question becomes, how are we driven to be a part of that conversation so we are directing it? Because I can tell you right now that machine learning and AI, when I look across the goal, there are very few women and almost no minorities. How is that okay? We're being called to fill those gaps. We're being called to understand that as we talk about the next age, in the beginning, matter and energy. If you look at the 19th century and you look at the early part of the 20th century, it was driven by the science of matter and energy. 1950, something happened. It transformed the way you think, the way we think about science. It was the discovery by Crick, Watson, and Rosalind Franklin, Photo 51 of DNA. For the first time, we were able to now understand the nature of the human cell. It led and transformed us to the miracles that we have right now, the modern day medicines and all the rest of these other things. But let me just be clear to you that if you're not thinking that the next wave is already here, in fact, the future is here, it's just unevenly distributed. The future of data. Data is going to be pervasive in business. Data is going to be pervasive in science. Data is going to be pervasive in the arts. Data is going to drive much of what you have to do. And at the end of the day, I would much rather be influencing and driving it than having it drive us. Where is our call to action in the context of impact in our community? That data, by the way, we are creating as we speak right now, new jobs that have never even been created before. For example, it turns out that I have been pushing really hard to figure out how health systems are defining what they're doing with health disparities. Turns out we don't even have a health, we have a quality and safety measures. I've driven on a national level starting this year that we will now actually have a first ever national report card on health equity, right? What's not measured is what? Not done. But check this out. What does that create? So when you go to the hospitals now, you sort of say, well, how do you know that your African American or rural patients are doing better? They'll say, well, we don't really know because no one's asking. We are about to create the first job of a chief information officer for health disparities. Never been done in the country. What I'm saying to you is, don't look at what you see right before your eyes. Look at what you can dream and then create it. That's what you're being called to do. That's what you're being called to do. Now, many of you are going to say, well, listen, I just won't get past my exams. Fair. But at some point, you will get past your exams and be out of your college, and then what? So I got something for you. To chase excellence is great, and to pursue excellence, I've done that all my life. Pursue academic excellence. But I'm now at a point in my life where I'm pursuing academic relevance. Now, the impact I'm having is the following. I'm going to publish papers because I love science. Listen, if loving science is wrong, I don't want to be right. That's for sure. I love science. I'll tell you right now, I'll take you in my lab, we can talk about some RNA binding protein as if I was talking about Wu-Tang. I swear to God. But that drive and that creativity, actually I've recognized needed to be connected. And so everything that we're doing now is pushing VCU, Massey, to figure out what's the impact. So I'll leave you with these couple things before I get to essentially mentorship versus sponsorship. Courage, y'all gonna have to find, but courage don't look like what you think and you see on the TV. To find courage, you have to be vulnerable. Now that's hard sometimes for brothers and people to talk, right? Because he's like, I'm good. We always good. But real courage, the courage that Harriet Tubman, the courage that others have exhibited throughout their entire lives, takes a little bit of vulnerability. Now give me an example. I'll give you an example, because I've never seen a true act of courage without you being vulnerable. If a baby carriage, you see the old thing is, right, crossing and a bus is about to hit it, a person runs out in the street and they push the baby carriage, do they know that they may not get hit? Courage means by definition that you have to put yourself in a vulnerable space. In 2023, I'm a little bit nervous, but I become the first African American ever to run the AACI. Now that's the American Association of Cancer Institutes. It's never been done before in its 50, 60-year history. It means that you become the top cancer doc of the country. You meet with the president, you set these things up and all the rest of that stuff. So, but the coolest part about that is not that it's about me, it's who's going in that room. My grandmother's going in that room with me. My uncles and aunts going with that room with me. My people from my neighborhood are going in there with me. And we're going to set a platform unapologetic about Black excellence and about health disparities. That's just the way it's going to get down. Now, if they don't like it, they don't like it, but that's how it's going to get down. That's how we're going to do it. So how do we get there? I'm going to leave you with this. You got to figure out what's mentorship and when do you need a mentor and when do you need a sponsor. I can see some people already going, what do you say? Mentor, sponsor, what the what? A mentor and your sponsors can be one and the same, but frequently are not. So let me just kick you down with how to define mentorship and when you find it, and how do you actually define sponsorship and when you need it. Quickly. Mentors. Mentors have a content of expertise, right? So for me, molecular biologist, cancer biologist, I want to figure out those people who understand the content, right? Who are the experts, to learn from them of how do I become a molecular biologist or a cancer biologist. Your mentor is supposed to be able to figure out how to then give you the courage, the tools, and the expertise to become a full functioning whatever it is that you want to become. A sponsor doesn't necessarily need to be your content expert, but they do need to be able to open up doors for you. A sponsor get you at the right meetings on national meetings. A sponsor says to you, hey, listen, I think that I'm gonna call this guy and I want to make sure that you're at that meeting and that you take over this project. A sponsor is a little bit like this. A mentor, right? If you're trying to, you can only get in a club with me when my mentor's with me. A sponsor says, you don't need me, here's the keys. A sponsor ensures that you don't get overlooked when you get out of college and you get your first job. A sponsor looks at you and sort of says, from a career sort of path, I can open up these doors for you, not because there's anything that I want particularly from you, but because I believe and see the greatness in you and know that you're going to go on and carry this on. Frequently, mentors are absolutely critical. But occasionally, mentors can't sit at the same tables and can't open up the doors you can open. That's not their job. And don't get mad at your mentor. Your mentor is there to do exactly what they're supposed to elevate you, to sharpen your skills around the content of your field and expertise. Now, many times what I see with particularly young undergraduate and graduate students is they get frustrated. My mentor did this and he couldn't even get me in that meeting. Well, don't sweat it, because your mentor shouldn't probably be at those meetings either. This is why you must understand who is the person knocking on the door saying, I got this young person here and I actually believe in them. Well, what do you know about them? I know enough about them. Give them a shot. How do you build that? How do you build that network? How do you build sponsorship? Most of the time, folks come around talk about networking. I'm just networking. What does that even mean? Especially on Zoom. I done seen a whole lot of faces. I know what people look like from here up. But that energy is missing. When you go to a sponsor or even a mentor, you got to approach that from a perspective of humility. Now listen, I want a little bit of swag up in there. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of swag. I got some. For real. You got to actually have at least a little bit of swag and understand that when you come up there, you are about to do what? You're about to do the job. But that has to be balanced with a sense of reality, because if all you got is a bunch of swag up in here and I feel your energy, I might just say, well, you apparently know everything, so what I got to teach you? There is the funny part about this whole thing about grace and humility. And with that sense of courage and that sense of belief in yourself, you always have to have just a modicum of humility. And in fact, if one's ever said, well, what's the greatest strength that you've ever seen in any leader? It's humility. It's the ability to have the humility to listen to other people. It's the ability to understand that while you may be loud, you also may be incorrect. In fact, over time, I've learned how to, I play a little ball, well, not basketball, but football. That's what I did in Notre Dame. So, so you don't want to play no basketball with me, but definitely football. I'm basketball. But they used to say, don't go for the head fake. Well, a lot of times when you come up and you all puffed up, you may run into somebody who's been around the block and says, I am not impressed by your tinkling brass and fury. A value, strong values, don't need any rules for people to do it. This is why sometimes people tell me about their values, but I'm looking at what they do as opposed to oftentimes what they tell me when I'm picking who's going to be my next deputy or who's going to be this new person with this new job opportunity. You have so much going for you and so many people around you, and you are networked beyond your belief. You have networks that you don't even know yet. I'm going to say the following. When you get tired and you get frustrated, or when you start getting like you think you know everything, take a pause. Just take a pause. The reality is, I know you're going to do great things. Ain't even no question about that. The issue for me is what great things are you going to do? Not what jobs you're going to get. What jobs are you going to create? Not who you gonna help, but what systems are you gonna put in place? Not how much money you gonna make, but how do you create the networks and all the rest of this so that you create money and you create wealth for your community. The crazy part about being a cancer center director and all this other stuff is I don't even think about any of that. I've been called to do this. This is not my job, it's my avocation. My mission, just like yours, is aligned with making sure that we have impact. So I've probably overstayed my welcome. And I know that sometimes the spirit can move, and I'm probably getting that look like, use time to cut the spirit off. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. We got you. Those of you who want to actually join arm in arm in the context of not just curing health disparities, but eradicating cancer, come on board. Those of you who are looking in the context of developing new sciences, new ways of looking at data, come on board. We got you. And I want to say that I'm proudest that I know that VSU, they got you. You got a great foundation, a great start, and I'm looking forward to the great things that you're all going to do. And so thank you so much for allowing me to actually have a couple words with you.
If you can, join me in one more hand of applause for Dr. Lynn. On behalf of the leadership here at the university, on behalf of everyone in the Honors College, we say thank you. I know that our students, your words resonated with them, and I hope to see this matriculate as they matriculate successfully at Virginia State University. And with that said, we want to give you a little token to say thank you for this. Words cannot express how much we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Go Trojans.
Yes. And now, without further ado, we have some more of our talented honor students, and they will do a performance for you. And they are members of Sankofa. And immediately following their performance, you will hear next from the Dean of the Honors College, Dr. Daniel Roberts. Thank you.
My skin is black, my arms are long, my hair is woolly, my back is strong, strong enough to take the pain, inflicted again and again. What do they call me? My name is Aunt Sarah. My name is Aunt Sarah. My skin is yellow, my hair is long. Between two worlds, I do belong. You see, my father was rich and white. He forced my mama one night. Well, what do they call me? Well, I'm Sophronia. is fine. My hips went by you. My mouth like wine. Whose little girl am I? Anyone's got money to buy. What do they call me? My name's Sweet, Sweet, Sweet Thing, yeah. My skin is brown. My manner is tough. I'll kill the first mama I see. Hey, my life has been rough. I'm awfully better these days because my parents were slaves. What do they call me? My name is Peach.
Wow, was that awesome? You would give them a round of applause. For those of you who don't know by now, my name is Dr. Dan Roberts, and I have the privilege of serving as the Dean of the Honors College here at Virginia State University. And thank you all for coming out tonight. I've got a bunch of people I want to thank, make sure that I've got that straight from the get-go. You know, I want to make sure I'm thanking the parents, I want to thank the friends, I want to thank the staff, the faculty who make all this possible. These are amazing events, celebrations of the greatness of the Virginia State University Honors College students. You know, I have to thank the speaker, Dr. Robert Wynn, a great friend of Virginia State University and a great friend of Virginia State Honors College. Thank you, Dr. Wynn. Thank you for coming down here today. You know, I need to thank the president, the provost, I need to thank the student leaders who make these things happen. You know, it's a support system that brings things together, and I want to make sure that I acknowledge all those folks who do that. I want to take a moment to recognize that we're being received by folks over live stream, literally all around the world. The last we heard, we've got folk looking at us from China tonight and South Korea, from Europe, all across the United States, mostly parents, family, friends, you know, beaming in to take in this excellent program and the celebration of all of your greatness. So hats off to all you guys out all in Zoom land tonight. I want to make sure I thank the Honors Council, Dr. Donald, who serves as the chairperson of that group. Make sure that we have a group of faculty members who are always on point and making sure that our program gets moved in the right direction at all times. You know, I need to acknowledge my specific staff because this is really important. None of this happens without them. Dr. Lisa Hobson, who you have met, Dr. Aurelia Nicholas Donald, who's on the stage, Ms. Morgan Jones, who's down front, Ms. Jones, give a wave. Round of applause for the Honors College staff. As most of you know, we've been rolling out a larger division, a division of global leadership, academic and talent development. And with that team comes more folks on board to make these things happen. So I want to make sure I acknowledge Ms. Florence Marshall, Dr. Diane Becker, and Professor Arnold Westbrook. All these folks make a lot of interesting things happen for honors students and students from across our campus. So acknowledging them is important. You know, we're part of a partnership with the area of student success and engagement on campus. It's an important relationship that makes an awful lot happen in our building, the Honors College building. Ms. Regina Barnett-Tyler, Mr. Joe Lyons, Derek Peterson, Desmond Crawley, these guys make a lot of things great that happen on campus, and they deserve recognition too. So thank you, guys. I get the pleasure of sort of tooting the horn of the Honors College, and I couldn't be more proud to do that. You know, a couple of reminders about some things that have happened this year, and what a crazy year it's been, no doubt, right? September 2021, we welcomed the very largest honors class to Virginia State in our history. No small thing, so a lot of people made that happen. 21 of our students went to the Leadership Institute sponsored by the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Again, VSU is a leader in activities in partnership with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. As a product of that partnership, VSU students received a little bit more than $150,000 of support from Thurgood Marshall College Fund alone last year. So that's no small thing, and that mostly goes to you guys. Congratulations. VSU honors students are engaged in the most prestigious competitions now in the country, in the world, right? We're engaged, we're applying, and we are winning. That's the neatest thing about this. We have a Fulbright finalist in our room tonight with us. We have Gilman finalists in our room tonight with us. We have an ETS Presidential Scholarship winner in the room with us tonight. We have a Semester at Sea Scholarship recipient. He's at sea actually right now, so we can congratulate him from afar. And we have someone who's been accepted to Oxford University for the fall in our room tonight. We'll find out who he or she is in just a few moments. You know, a couple weeks back now, our Honda Campus All-Star team participated in the national championship. 8 outstanding Honors College students competed against students from all across the country, all across the 104 HBCUs in our country. We didn't win it this year, but we're coming closer and closer. I knock on the door, and I want to make sure I acknowledge Dr. Diane Becker for her leadership with that group. Yeah. And if you haven't heard, and I think most of you have, VSU's newest group, our VSU Debate Society, participated this past weekend in the National HBCU Debate Competition. We rolled in, and thanks to Professor Westbrook and his team, that group of students who has hung out there and pushed everything forward, they won competitions this past weekend. So a big round of applause for those guys. DB8 Society, you find them. They're cool. You know, tonight is a recognition. It's about you guys. And tonight I want to make sure that I'm recognizing, and you'll find them all in the program, all of the outstanding students. These are recognitions for the work, the earned GPAs that you had this past fall. So in the room, we have 164 students who earned somewhere between a 3.5 GPA and a 3.999 GPA, 164. An additional 115 students received a perfect 4.0 in the fall of 2021. Could I have all of you guys stand for a moment? All of you guys who had a perfect 4.0, all of you guys who had a 3.5 GPA in the fall. Yeah. Congratulations, and keep up that hard work. There are amazing rewards ahead of you. Mr. Provost, I want to acknowledge that more than half of the students of the Honors College had more than a 3.5 GPA in the fall of 2021. So as you know, the Virginia State University Honors Program is open to all students seeking excellence on our campus. Many of our students arrive to us as freshmen, come in with provost and presidential awards, and that's great. But significantly, a third of our students come to our program having come to VSU and excelled. That is, earning more than a 3.4 GPA after a year's worth of coursework. And so in our program, we have 134 students who were inducted into the Honors College in 2021. And so I'd like to make a special acknowledgement and a special round of applause for those students. All of our inducted students, if you guys could rise, actually, that would be fantastic. Students have been inducted into the Honors College. Congratulations, guys, and keep up all the great work. You know, this is the funnest part of my job is coming to this day where we get to acknowledge 6 outstanding students amongst 500 Honors College students. It's a part of our program that's emerged over the last 7 years. It's allowed us to recognize just greatness, just excitement in our college. It's a competition ultimately, and we have to go through these processes of selection, and no one likes it because some people don't get it who were just enthusiastic beyond words about. But tonight we get to celebrate 6 very special people, and I think they're with us. Yeah. And so I'm going to ask them to come one by one to the stage. We've got a trophy, and we have a certificate that goes to each one of them. And I'm going to allow them to speak to you for a few moments about what it means to be at VSU and what these awards mean to them. So we have 2 large awards that sort of go to any student of any classification, recognizing engagement in a special way. Outstanding service and engagement, outstanding leadership excellence. And then, of course, we move into freshman, sophomore, junior, senior of the year. All right? So first off, we have the Outstanding Service and Engagement winner, Miss Aaliyah Mayers. Aaliyah.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'll introduce myself. I am Aaliyah Mayers, a sophomore history and political science double major from Brooklyn, New York. And I want to first start off by thanking God. Without him, my successes at Virginia State University would not be possible. I would also like to thank my family at home and my support system here on campus, who serve as mentors in my academic endeavors. To the Honors College, who is always making sure to send scholarships and career opportunities, I want to say thank you for making sure that I get the best out of my education and that it is rigorous. I would also like to make sure that I'm giving back to my school who pours into me. So again, thank you for this award, and thank you to the Honors College.
And if you didn't catch it, in your program, obviously there are some nice bios about each of these award winners that begins to scratch the surface of their excellence. Our next award winner is our Outstanding Leadership Excellence winner. You may have just seen her on stage a moment ago, Miss Joy Watson.
Hi, everybody. I am Joy Watson, a junior mechanical engineering technology and mathematics double major with a minor in dance, hailing from Newburgh, New York. And I just want to say thank you, Dr. Hobson, thank you, Dr. Roberts. Leadership excellence is really important to me. I would like to thank all the organizations that I'm a part of for trusting me to be a leader in these organizations, and I hope to inspire you all to be leaders as well. Thank you.
And now we come to these outstanding freshman, sophomore, junior, senior of the year. These are fantastic achievements looking across all of the students in a particular classification. This was a particularly challenging year for freshmen, but rising to the top was Miss Kayla Davis. Kayla.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I lost my speech. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Davis, and I am a freshman majoring in psychology. I would first like to thank the Honors College Committee in deeming me worthy of this award. I didn't plan this, but I would also like to thank my support system, which is my family. Some of them are here today. Y'all are amazing. Hey, y'all. Y'all are amazing, and thank you again. Receiving this award for Outstanding Freshman of the Year is exciting because my main goal is simply to help. When I first arrived on campus, I was bombarded with Black excellence, which can sort of seem intimidating in a new setting because I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anybody, and I barely knew my way around campus. Like, it was crazy. And you all probably felt the exact same way, to some extent, of course. To really get into the groove of things, there were changes that needed to be made within my habits and, my habits and mindset. That means setting boundaries, being strict with self-discipline, and stop procrastinating. Yes, I said it, stop procrastinating. You all probably heard that, and I'm not going to be the one to talk your ears off about it. However, I am here in many ways to help. I tutor in basic math 1 and 2, college algebra, trigonometry, and statistics. I am also an SI leader in college algebra. By the way, if anybody needs help within these sessions, please reach out to me. Nonetheless, I am honored to be a part of Virginia State University, the best HBCU out here. This journey has been eye-opening in seeing my full potential and helping others reach theirs. This journey and this opportunity is going to be amazing for everybody, and I cannot wait to see how I and everyone else in my graduating class flourish into something bigger and more than anyone could ever imagine. Again, thank you so much for awarding me Outstanding Freshman of the Year.
If you've been paying attention, our next recipient was our previous recipient for Freshman of the Year. This is an outstanding young woman. Her name is Miss Kaylin Hay. Kaylin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kaylin Hay again, and I'm a sophomore computer engineering and mathematics major, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. First and foremost, I have to give the Lord God above, my light, my guide, and my strength, all thanks and praise for what he has done and completed in my life so far. Everything that I've done and completed at Virginia State University would not have been possible without him in my life. Secondly, I'd like to thank my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, and my papa. They couldn't be here tonight. They're in Las Vegas, but I see them on live stream right now. Hey, y'all. How you doing? I would like to thank them for constantly teaching me who I am and reminding me of who I come from, how to continuously push on, and how to always remember that no matter what, nothing is permanent in this life. No feelings, no situation, no outcome, nor people, because this too shall pass. That's a quote from my papa. He always tells me that when I try to get too into things. Thank you, Papa. It's an honor to be awarded this distinction and recognition today. I'm humbled to stand before you all, though, especially amongst those who I consider the greatest scholars, leaders, and brilliant minds this honors program has to offer. Though I'm recognized with this title, I truly believe multiple other scholars could share in this esteem. Though I'd like to thank you, though, for this recognition and distinction, nonetheless. This year has definitely challenged me in more ways than one. In doing research, serving my community, my organizations, discovering my own passions and talents, and letting myself understand my own capabilities, I've come to highly appreciate and value a good educational foundation, which I received in high school, but was further elevated in my advanced time here at VSU. With this solid foundation, I'm confident in my plan to finish my dual degree and head straight towards my Master's of Engineering in the next stage. This summer, though, I'll be interning at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory under the at the APL Technology Leadership Scholars Program, or better known as their Atlas Scholars Program. The honors program has granted me resources which I've used to further myself professionally and academically. Dr. Roberts and Dr. Hobson and more at this university have been amazing and phenomenal sources of encouragement, aid, and opportunity to refine myself into the academic scholar and professional that I strive to be. Above all, I'm grateful to stand before you all today, to be surrounded by like-minded individuals who value education, who see purpose behind what they do, and have the determination to dream and to achieve greater, brighter, and more every single day. Class of 2024, we've been through a lot so far, coming online in high school to online our first semester, to coming in last semester into the spring here until now. We've been through a lot, but I have faith and hope, and I'm tremendously proud of us all. We're gonna make it out on the other side with flying colors and more in the end. Again, thank you for your time, your consideration, and this award again.
Our next award winner goes to our Outstanding Junior of the Year, someone who's just back from participating in the Battle of the Brains under the leadership of Dr. Donald. Back from Austin, Texas, Miss Blaze Davenport. Blaze.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Blaze Davenport, and I am a junior computer information systems major hailing from PG County, Maryland. First and foremost, I am so very thankful to receive this award, as I view it as a physical manifestation of all the hard work and effort that I've been doing behind the scenes. And to the honors program, I appreciate you all for working with me ever since I was a freshman in college. You guys have provided me with plenty of wonderful opportunities throughout my time here at VSU. I would also like to extend my special gratitude to Dr. Roberts, Dr. Hobson, and Dr. Donald for assisting me in the process of applying to study abroad programs. And now I can say that I've been selected as arguably, the best school in the world, Oxford University. Thank you. I also want to give a special thanks to my wonderful father for always supporting me and guiding me on this path to success. I love you, Dad. With the support of the honors program and my dearest father, I would have never known how it feels to achieve things so great. With that being said, I truly want to thank you all once again for recognizing my hard work as the Outstanding Junior of the Year.
And that brings us to our Outstanding Senior of the Year, a young man who's been striving and doing great things at Virginia State now for 4 years. I'm very sorry and sad to see him leave, but I'm excited for his next steps. Mr. Daniel Dunn.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Dunn. I'm a senior political science major from Richmond, Virginia. I first want to say it is an honor to win this award. I want to thank Dr. Roberts and the honors program. I want to thank my family, my friends. I want to thank my fraternity brothers at the New Side chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And as I receive this award, I do want to tell a short story. Around this time, 4 years ago, I was working in the counseling department of my high school. One day, I came in the counseling office and I was excited to tell a story. I wanted to tell the counselors that I had officially committed to Virginia State University to play baseball. Now, I got an unexpected reaction. The counselors were upset. They said, "You have so many different offers. Why would you go to Virginia State?" They told me that Virginia State would not prepare me for my future. They told me I wouldn't be able to get a good job. They told me that I wouldn't be able to get into a good grad school. But it is my pleasure to say today that I proved them wrong. At the end of this year, I will graduate with a 3.9 GPA, and I will be attending one of the top 10 law schools in the country, University of Virginia. To the younger students here, I want to leave you with this. You can accomplish anything here at Virginia State University, no matter how big or small your goals are. As long as you see it through to the end, you will be great. And I want to thank you all for this award. Thank you.
Were they fantastic or what? Can I give a big round of applause for our 6 award winners tonight? And with that, I'm going to turn over the podium to another outstanding graduating senior for some parting words. Mr. Kyle Jacobs.
Good evening, good evening. That's going to be really hard to follow up with. Okay. So good evening, everybody. My name is Kyle Jacobs. I'm a senior agriculture major. And yes, there are agriculture majors here. I'm passionate about global development, and I'm going to kind of go into the story that kind of inspired me to go this route. But first and foremost, I want to congratulate all the award winners on the stage tonight. You all represent what the Honor College is truly about, and I'm so happy that we're getting a chance to highlight some of your experiences. I know each and every one of you on the stage has overcome so many obstacles and made a lot of sacrifices to reach this level of success, so congratulations. So, as a member of the Honors College, you're not just a normal student, you're a part of the next generation of leaders who are going to make a real impact on this world. Many people before me on the stage have said that you kind of, joined some of the best and brightest minds on the planet, but you are the best and brightest minds on this planet. So, I kind of wanted to take the time to highlight some of the opportunities that I've been able to take advantage of with the help of the Honors College, and I hope that future honors students will take advantage of these as well. So, on the innovation side, I've been able to win over $50,000 in prize money, and then I've been able to also acquire over $100,000 in development funds for any startup that I want to start. Thank you. And some of these competitions, thank you to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund for providing these, were the Kroger Zero Hunger Zero Waste Challenge. I'm also in the Metaverse Challenge right now, and I did a couple app and pitch development challenges. I really want to emphasize on the PhD prep programs I've been able to take advantage of. So the first is I got selected to participate in the Princeton P3 Scholar Program. The second is, and thanks to Dr. Donald, is the PhD project. And all of you who plan on pursuing higher education should definitely take a look into this. The last one, recently I was selected as an Idea Scholars for the Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. Thank you. All right. As far as research opportunities, Dr. Wimber's right. There needs to be a lot more minorities in these spaces. I've kind of stepped into this space because I've been one of the first HBCU students to work on the AI Farms project with the University of Illinois' Urbana campaign. I also was one of the first HBCU students to work on the University of Virginia Data Science for Public Good Young Scholars Program. So we're stepping into the research world, VSU strong. All right, almost done. All right, so I kind of wanted to give a special thanks to a few people who've kind of helped me along on my journey. Dr. Donald, of course, Dr. Faison, and my high school teacher, Mr. Janey. I also wanted to give a special shout out to my grandmother, for always believing in me. May she rest in peace. And I kind of wanted to let everybody know to help me that your hard work is paid off. So, I have been awarded the Columbia HBCU Fellowship, and I will be attending Columbia University in the fall to study sustainability management. The HBCU fellowships includes full tuition, on-campus housing, I get to pick my own apartment, and community engagement opportunities, but they also give me a stipend because New York is expensive, so hey, good on that. All right. Like I said, this has truly been an amazing journey. I went from being a kid in foster care to being diagnosed with several learning disabilities to having a full ride to an Ivy League. So I'm just here to let you know that anything is possible. These people in your room are going to be your family, and whenever you face an obstacle, you kind of need to turn to them and just ask for support. You are some of the best and brightest minds in the world, and you have to know your potential. So thank you. All right. I know y'all ready to go home, but last but not least, they told me to tell y'all this. So Wednesday at 6 p.m. in Quad 1, room 148, there's going to be a meet and greet. Y'all should definitely come and figure out how we got these opportunities, plus y'all might have some opportunities as well. And then Tuesday, which is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Quad 1, room 177, there will be a scholarship workshop. So I'll definitely be there to help y'all out with anything. Y'all can call me and contact me any way that you need to. But thank you all for attending tonight, and I wish you well.
So good evening. I am Dr. Donald Palm, the Executive Vice President and Provost of this Greater Happens Here University. You all need to give yourselves another round of applause. I am so proud of each and every one of you. And before I get going too far into my remarks, I just want to say, Dr. Nguyen, thank you very much. Thank you for your words of wisdom, of experience, as well as encouragement for our students. A couple things that you said that really resonated with me, that greatness is a choice. And again, I hope that you all digest that in a very, very significant way. Greatness is a choice. You can choose to be great. Greatness is a choice. I see something great in each and every one of you. Those are powerful words. Those are words of motivation, words of future-looking, of success. Wonderful, wonderful words. I want that to resonate with you. And Mr. Dunn, you said something very powerful as well, is that your counselors told you that you couldn't do it, right? But there was other people that saw something great in you, and look at you now. Congratulations, young man. You're doing a great job. I also wanted to have a few people stand up. Dr. Roberts, Dr. Hobbs, Dr. Donald, can y'all please stand up? I think Morgan, Dr. Becker, and Professor Westbrook, if you're still here, if you can please stand up. He's in the back there. Let's give these folks a round of applause as well. You know, one of the things that, please remain standing, one of the things that I can just tell you is that finishing up my 6th year here at Virginia State University, and we have now graduated to a college, right, the Honors College now. And this is, again, this is something myself and Dan were talking about for some time. But when I first got here, again, I saw something great in you. I saw something great in the program. And I'm looking at it now and seeing where we're at today. It is phenomenal, the work that you have put in. And again, a very, very small staff. And Dan tells me every day about his needs. And we have been very strategic in growing. 3 years ago, we didn't have living learning communities, right? And you can see that, again, thanks to Mr. Peterson and Dr. Hobson, that we were able to start the first living learning community. And so we're moving and shaking. And you know, people talk about Virginia State University in many ways, but there's something special about our honors program and the honors college. And this is it. It's these individuals that I have standing. It's the special sauce that I sell university on. And again, I think Dr. Nguyen understands that now because of the work that they put in. So I want to thank y'all. Y'all can have a seat, though. Let's give them another round of applause. I'm going to also, I think Mr. Davenport was here, but also Dr. Corley was here. My Associate Vice Provost is in the audience as well, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. So I'm just going to ask that you all truly, truly make me proud, and that you all go out and impact the world like I know that you can. It's been a night well spent, and I'm going to ask that you all have a safe travel home. We're going to end with a post salute, and once the post salute is done, you can actually leave the actual auditorium. So thank you very much. Have a great evening.